It's Christmas. Okay, it's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make a prime rib roast, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what does Daddy like to do with the prime rib roast?
The cutter.
Yeah, I do like to cut it. We're gonna cut it tomorrow.
The cutter.
Right now, we gotta prepare it for tomorrow because we're gonna reverse sear. So I'm gonna show everybody what we do with our prime rib. Done it a couple years in a row. Feel bad I haven't made any videos in a while. So I felt like doing a video on the prime rib because I do these once a year, right? So 12-pound prime rib roast. I like to leave a good amount of fat on the top. You can take that off after, but I like leaving some fat on it. So that's 12 pounds. It's on the rack. We're gonna reverse sear it in the oven. And the night before, what I like to do is make kind of like this pasty, salty, oily rub. So prime ribs don't need a whole lot, right? They taste really good. They really just need like salt and pepper. You can get crazy and do all these rubs with them, especially if you're gonna put them in the smoker, stuff like that. I prefer reverse searing these. They're very good smoked, but I don't like to smoke these usually. So I'm gonna do the reverse sear and show you what that looks like. And when I do the reverse sear, I like to just do salt, pepper, fresh garlic, oil, and make like this kind of, what do you call it?
It's almost like I don't want to call it a chimney. It's almost like a garlic infused like oil rub.
Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like. So
yeah.
Fresh garlic.
It's like a little paste.
Yeah, it's like, right, there you go.
Yeah.
It's like garlic paste. So make this salty garlic paste. I'm gonna rub it down the night before, and then I'm gonna do something that I don't know if a lot of people do. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I read it on the interwebs this one time, and I started doing it a couple years ago, and it works really well. And I'll show you what I do with it. So, all right, let me get this blended up. We'll get some oil in here. A good amount of oil, right? Because we're gonna rub this whole thing down, and it's huge. It's like 12 pounds. So, I need more oil, Mama. Okay, so that we'll put. Let's see that. We'll put some salt in. These big pieces of meat like a lot of salt, so be generous with the salt. I'm gonna put some more oil in here too. That I ran out in my thing, but
yeah,
we'll put some more oil in there. And then plenty of pepper. We'll get this blended up. Yeah. And then I gotta hurry up because we gotta play volleyball. Right?
Yeah.
It's like an emulsified.
There you go. It's like
Yeah.
emulsified.
Well, but there's not vinegar in it, so it's not technically an emulsification. But let's not get too technical here. So, all right, let's not nerd out too hard.
Blended.
Yeah.
Garlic and oil.
That's right. That's all it is. And we'll call it an infused oil. See? Yeah, it's yummy. Okay. This.
And
Okay. So, guys, this is pretty simple. This is what I do. So, just drizzle this on. Rub it in. Rub it in. Right?
Yep.
Okay, so
Rub it.
you got oil, salt, pepper, garlic. Who doesn't like garlic, right? This is it. This is what I do with these. Okay, this thing's rubbed. Fresh garlic, you guys saw that. Salt, pepper, oil. I said it 20 times by now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wrap this thing. We're gonna put this in the refrigerator in this pan, just like this, open. Not covered, not saran wrap, not nothing. What that's gonna do is,
nothing.
yeah, it's actually gonna start dry. So dry aging, it's almost like a form of dry age. So you're gonna put it in the fridge, and it's gonna start drying out a bit, which is great for when you cook this thing. It helps you get a really good crust on it. So I started doing this a few years ago. Yes, my fridge is gonna smell like garlic for a day, but it actually really, really helps and really, really works. So we're gonna put this in the fridge overnight. It's gonna sit in here. I'm gonna take it out first thing in the morning. We're gonna let it come up to room temp before we put it in the oven at around 210 to 215 degrees. And we're gonna cook it slow and low at first, and then we're gonna blast it, right? How's that look?
it's pretty.
Yeah, it's a big hunk of meat. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like in the morning, right?
Yeah.
What you cooking?
What you cooking?
Hey there, baby, sweet as can be. For your love, I beg, borrow, or steal. Beg, borrow, or steal.
You want to go up here with Daddy?
What are you looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here. Right here.
Yep. Up here with Daddy. I'm just gonna bring.
All right. Prime rib roast has been out. Coming up to room temp, right?
Hey.
All right, this is Pajama Jam this year at the Crespos.
So excited. No.
Is it Pajama Jam?
Pajama jammy jam.
We're doing some prime rib. Okay.
Cut it.
All right, so prime rib, pulled out of the fridge, was in there all night. Like I said, not wrapped. You want to dry it out a little bit. You don't want the meat to be all wet, and then you put it in the oven, and then it kind of like boils. You don't get this good crust. Trust me, it's kind of weird the first time I did it. Like put it in the fridge, unwrap, and nothing on it. I was like, this is kind of weird. But then if you're looking at like, well, dry aging and stuff like that, really, it's along those lines, we'll say, right? I didn't dry age it, but it helps dry it out so you get a good crust. So it looks glossy right now because be careful, because the fat is coming up to temperature just in the ambient, and it's getting glossy. So I've got the oven at 220. We are going to reverse sear this thing, so it's going to go in low. It's going to cook slow from start, and then at the end we're going to rest it, and then we're going to blast it under high heat to really char the outside, and I'll show you what that looks like. So Pajama Jam at the Crespos. Okay, so oven's at 220. We're going to put this in, but before we put it in there, we are going to make a little kind of gravy au jus thing later. So in the bottom of the pan, along with some of the fresh garlic and oil that's made it down there, we are going to put some mushrooms, some shallots, and some red wine. Okay? Okay, Flinny?
Yeah.
So we're just going to cut these shallots in half. I'm going to throw those in there with some red wine. So, mushrooms, garlic, shallots, beef roast. Get in your home. Okay. And then your favorite red wine. Just give this a dump around.
Oh, hang on.
Make sure the bottom's covered.
Let me
we got a
stop
cover
that
going on.
for you.
All right. Flinny's having a little gourmet mac and cheese before. This is going to take a few hours. So, all right. So we're just going to coat the bottom with your favorite red wine. We're doing a Malbec in here because I like Malbec. So.
What's that? I don't like it.
No, you won't like that. Okay, so we're gonna put this in the oven 220. 220. I have the meat sitting in a cage. You don't want the meat sitting in the bottom of the pan and all the juices. It won't help the crust. It'll get kind of soggy on the bottom. It'll change the cooking temp on the bottom and all that. So this is gonna go in on the rack. 220. I will stick a probe in it to nail down the temperature in a couple hours, but it's gonna take at least 3 hours, right? Right? Yeah? Okay, prime rib dinner, what you cooking? All right, we got grandmas and grandpas coming over.
Yeah.
We gonna make some Bloody Marys?
Yeah.
Yeah, high five. Good job. Okay, so just pulled this out. It's at 122 internal. I pulled the probe. As you can see, this is not like it's not like all crusty yet, right? Because we did it low and slow, so it looks like nothing pretty.
Well, it's still pretty.
No, I know, but it's gonna look better, right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna blast it later. See the shallots and the mushrooms? There's like a good au jus in the bottom with red wine and beef broth.
Hold on, I gotta get the mushrooms. Okay.
Yeah, nice and roasty. Those are gonna like fall apart too. So,
Mhm.
all right, so it was pulled at 122 internal temp. It's been roasted at 220, so like super low. It's not like really crusty yet. So we're gonna get the oven up to 550. We're gonna let it rest now. It's gonna rest for like 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna put it back in the oven at like 550. And then we're gonna get the crust on it, right? So then when we get the crust on it, we're gonna pull it out and slice it immediately because it's already rested, which is really cool about the reverse sear technique. So I'm actually gonna maybe score this a little bit before we hit it at 550. So we're gonna let it chill for like 30 minutes and it's pull back in at 550. And then we cut it. Okay. And I'll make some gravy with what's in the bottom there, right?
Yep.
What you cooking?
I need help.
Oh, here we go. You got
Part of the
it.
fun. Okay. It's been in the oven. We blasted it. We rested it for like a half an hour. And then we just put it back in at 500. And then I broiled it actually at the end just to get this fat nice and crispy on it. Like you see here. Oh boy. Okay. So I'm just gonna cut all our strings off here. Now the cool thing about doing this reverse sear is that it's done. You can cut it now, right? It's already rested. We just charred the outside real quick. So
Let's see the other side.
we just gonna grab this thing. Every big cut of beef needs a big knife, right? All right, let's see what this thing looks like. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the reverse sear. So you get medium pretty much throughout the whole thing, right? I mean,
Yep.
does it look juicy to you?
Yep.
Woo! That's pretty, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll just make a quick au jus. Oh, jump on. What's left? Guys, that's it. So reverse sear. It's pretty tender. It kind of comes out perfect every time, right?
Can't wait to eat it.
I know, me too. Look at all the juice coming up here. Okay, we gotta
Let's eat.
we gotta get that back into the pan. Prime rib reverse sear. This is the way to do it, guys. Do you want some prime rib?
Yeah,
Sit.
Good in my
But
tummy.
it's very
Good in my tummy.
strenuous. So like,
Yummy in my tummy.